Results also showed an overwhelming rejection by the people for a measure to replace the police department with a Department of Public Safety, which would have been overseen by the City Council. Now, the possible of actually dismantling the police department was all in response to the death of George Floyd in the summer of 2021. However, the question failed by 57% to 44%. So to discuss if this is the end of the defund the police movement, we bring in former police officer Dominick Izzo. Dominick, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Scotty. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so what is the effect of yesterday's referendum failure on the issue?
Well, I didn't think it was going to go anywhere in the first place, and we have to start really looking at what this is. One of my favorite sayings is, it's hard to be focused when you're confused. And this whole issue with police reform, it's hot potato, right? You look at it, use emotionalism, blame the police for everything. I honestly think that people, we're teaching our kids everything in school except for how to obey police, how to obey the law, and how to obey the Constitution. And when you have an issue that is this black and white between the police and the public, this is something that's never going to go away, and it's always going to be a leveraging tool that activists and the public use. And I really want to see activists start going after the real issue in what these communities are having. That's their government, their mayor's office, the judges they elect, the judicial system, the prosecutors, everything. The police, the cops on the street, they're the pawns. That is always going to be the easiest one to blame for this. And we have to start branching out more to the root cause of the problem and not just this symptom.
But also one of the problems is that you saw this rise in crime, especially over the last 9 months, especially in Minneapolis. I mean, there was a wave of these car hijackings that happened this past week that they just got the ring that was doing it. So do you think actually the rise in crime also might be calling for this idea to disband the police? That also might be making it weaker as well.
We've asked our cops to be everything from, security guards. Right, and they just can't. I really want people to start looking at how this tactic is used. If we rewind last year to what happened with George Floyd, everyone on the planet was on George Floyd's side. What we saw was abhorrent law enforcement. It required a massive investigation. You went to the Derek Chauvin trial, and what did we start to do? We started to all of a sudden criticize and critique and attack the character of George Floyd. The nation, the people are so easily swayed on emotion. That's why it doesn't matter. You take what happened during that time of George Floyd, you're going to have people hating the cops. Cops are going to say we can't do anything right. Maybe they're going to start turning a blind eye to things. It's not black and white. It is a culmination of a relationship. And what happens in relationships? If two parties don't come together and try to solve problems, you're going to get bigger problems. It's just like silence in a marriage. You don't talk to your partner, things are going to go worse. And
that, unfortunately, is what's going to happen because police don't want to work. You know, they saw in Minneapolis, it's been down by 160 members of their police force since 2018. Real quick, last few seconds of the show. How is this going to have an effect? Do you think this might actually cause more departments to be able to once again retain and recruit new members?
No, you're going to get yes men cops. You're going to get company people in, and America's going to be in for a wake-up call when it comes down to defending your constitutional rights. I think it's going to be a real horrible future.
Oh, Dominick, I don't like that bleak. I like to end on a positive note. But the positive note is we have you to continue to guide us along this very, very interesting world we're living in. Thanks for joining me, Dominick.